So here we are. I got, I'll make a little video of what I did here, but this wire goes into the mesh. It reads off of my AFR gauge and it plugs. This is like an industrial style laptop and it's got, the serial plug right here. So I don't need I was using this guy earlier. This thing just didn't work. Didn't work at all. So now when I go into the, what's that thing called? The VMC, VLC, what's this thing called? VCM scanner. When I go into the VCM scanner, I get real AFR showing up in there so I can do some tuning in there. But before we do that, before we do anything, before we can even try to crank this thing up, there's a few things we need to take care of. So very first, when you do, now if you go over here to the OS, there's nothing there. I've already done the upgrade to this PCM. So we're running 2-bar speed density real-time tuning. So I showed in the last video how the real-time tuning shows up, and I get that volumetric efficiency table that I can edit real-time while the truck's running. So that's super important. But before we even do any of that, we need to go through and change a lot of settings in here, which I know you can barely see anything I'm doing and the camera's shaky. But first thing I needed to do, I changed all these to 60. This is flow rate versus KPA. For flow rate right here underneath the fuel tab in engine, because I got 60 pound-an-hour injectors and the minimum injector pulse was like it said it could go to 0.08, but I guess they were like laggy. I don't know, but that's where I'm going to start. And that's kind of like, once you put something there, the rest of your tuning efforts go off of that. So it's not like you can do a bunch of tuning, come back and change this. You know what I mean? They said that once you go to 0.08, once the duty cycle starts maxing out, the injector more or less hangs open, is why they were saying to go with 1.0, which this equated it to 1.03. 1.003. I don't think that's going to matter much, but I'm starting with that. Other things, when you go to airflow in your primary, so this whole table here, for me anyway, when you go to the 2-bar, the whole thing is 512. Each cell says 512. So what I've done, and I did this a long time ago, I even forget how I got to where I was, but like in this area, I got it to where it would idle. The rest of it's junk, but I started out with like this area here, and this was with the other PCM, but I saved this, and you basically go to that, copy the entire table, and then paste it in here, because I had already done the 2-bar on that, but I've never had this truck in boost, so I don't know what's going to happen down in that end of the table. But as far as coming up with the numbers, I used the interpolation, all that, which would look like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Here it is. You see, it's just a straight ramp, which I don't know how to spin this around. I don't think you can. No, but it's a mess. But at least I got something in there other than you got to do something. You got to pull, other than the 512 or whatever. So now I have to figure out how to get out of this. All right, there we go. So that's the first thing. When you go airflow primary, I don't know why this is so big. What have I done? I know what I've done. There we go. Okay. That's your first thing. Import your table here, and you can go up to this corner cell here and highlight the whole thing and do Control C off of the old one, and then come in here, do the same thing, Control V. One's copy, V is paste, and it'll stick it all in here. So anyway, that's like the first thing. And then, okay. I got to go through here and figure out the rest of this stuff. I want to foul out my mass airflow. I got to go through all the steps. I'm not going to do that live here on the camera because I don't know what I'm doing, and I have to like do research online and just basically copy all of what they did. I'll probably show you. It'll all be red. Everything that I change will be red. I'll show you what I mean. So like the transmission, for example, I'm not using the Prindle switch here because I don't have one on this truck, so it'll be none. See how it turned red? I'll go back and we'll look at everything that turned red. And I've already done the um, segment swap, so it's already set to run this 480 that's in this truck. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through, figure out everything I need to do, and I'll just go over all my settings before I burn it to the computer, before I send it off on the red button there. And I don't know, we'll talk about that. But let me get this all configured up, and then we'll try to start it and see where we're at. So I just made a bunch of changes. I took a bunch of notes here. I literally just watched the Goat Rope Garage Gen 3 speed density setup. And that's where I got all this from. It's literally notes directly from his video. So first thing I want to do up there is disable the MAF. So I'm just going to run through this quick so you can see. You go up to engine airflow and MAF calibration. You just open this whole table out and zero the whole thing out. Zero that out and save it. And then go into engine diag, and the 103, you want it to mill on first error. I put them all to mill on first error, but I got rid of the SES so it wouldn't report nothing. That was already done for some reason. I didn't do that, but that was already done. You see when you change something, it turns into red. But just for the sake of, that's like the only thing he tells you to do. I went and I put kill all TDCs. This is all everything, like all my oxygen sensors. I don't want them reporting. The only other thing that I kind of shut off, the four-wheel drive stuff, which was already off. And I've had an issue with this once. This theft deterrent, start enable, all this stuff, it's already off, but at one point in time I had that on and I was having an issue with that. So and mass airflow sensor fail at 0. You want that there. That was already done. I don't know when it was done, but it was done. So anyway, my fan settings, you go to system. System fans. So with these computers, it only works one fan, not both, but you put it on 2, and then it turns on at 185, off at 178, and then disable speed. So if you're going over 25 mile an hour, it's going to shut the fans off and let the air coming through cool everything down instead of working your fan for no reason. Next is he went to engine airflow and then dynamic, and then he has this high RPM disable. He put a 10,000 RPM. Don't know what that does, but that's what he says to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And then he goes to the fuel table, oxygen sensors, turns all these to 284. 285 is maximum. He went one under that. And then the long-term, short-term fuel trims, we disabled that. And then where do you go next? The catalytic converter over temperature, that's disabled. And then this cutoff, he put that up to 284 also. And then that was pretty much it. That's all he did, to be honest with you. And then he started talking about the thing. So I'm going to turn the truck on. And that covers my whole little list here. But that's like the pre-setup. I made a note so I don't have to watch this video every darn time I screw something up. But I am going to turn this thing on, and I'm going to burn it to the computer. And I know some stuff like VATs, you have to write entire, not write calibration. That was already done. So I'm just writing the calibration now. There we go, it runs my pump. And then I noticed, like, even after you save it, some of the stuff is still red. So I'm going to cycle the power on the truck. I'm going to save this. All right, let me save this quick. So here we go. We've got, where's my finger? The AEM AFR 18.5. We got that reading in here, so that's good. This is a live table, the real-time tuning from the PCM, and all I have to do is hit the negative and positive up here. So if I hit negative, it'll go down, positive, go up. So I'm going to try to start this, and we'll get it just to idle. That's all I want to do right now. I'm going to take you with me. Let's see what happens. Watch you have a dead battery. got the truck shut down. So the most important thing you need to remember, and I only really changed, we'll go to 100. So we'll go 400 and 800 RPM down to 100 kPa. I'm going to copy this because that's all I really changed. You need to go into your editor. Oh, you know what? I got to disconnect. You have to copy that. Make sure you copy that before. Airflow. So it was here to here down to 100. So I'm going to do the Control B, and there we go. It changes couple to 42. That's that idle area there. Now I need to write this. I got to turn it on and write calibration. And that's it. That's the gist of how you do this. So I'm going to let this go and get back with you in a minute. All right, well, I know I've been slacking on keeping up with this truck, the build update. I'll probably make a video about this. I got the AEM wideband. I had to run the green wires of ground that I ran over to my chassis. I got to start cleaning all this up. The blue wire that comes off of this is the wideband output that goes into this, and then it was on the DB9. I think this is pin 2, which was the red wire out of this, goes to the blue wire on the wideband, and then pin 5 went to the green wire, which was the ground, which was this. And that's how I got this to show up. All you do, my laptop has the DB9 in the back of it, so I tried to use that DB9, the USB conversion, and mine was bad. I'm talking about this thing. It was bad, so it wasn't working right. Actually, I don't know that because I didn't have it wired right, so that might have worked. I don't know. I didn't try it. Anyway, if you go without this, it reads a little quicker, so that's what everybody was saying. But you can use that, but this I was able to plug directly into my laptop and get my wideband plugged into the VCM editor there, and or whatever it's called, the tuner, and that's how I got this to idle. I gotta finish a bunch of other things so where I can like start driving it around and start, you know, getting the fuel intact a little better so I can drive it. But anyway, so like I said, I had a couple issues. I got the other video I just made was about this PCM. The other one that I had, it didn't have the real-time tuning, which you just saw me a minute ago messing with the real-time tuning and getting the volumetric efficiency, the VE table in the spec, you know, so I could have the AFR just right. The reason I did all that was, you know, I had these these were 20-pound injectors off of a Corvette, like a C4 that came off of one of my customers' cars. I had an issue with those, and I went to these, which were 24-pound injectors from a 454 big block, which was okay. It ran a little bit for me to move it around the property here, but I now have the Siemens Deca. Let me get a light in there so you can see. These are the EV1 style 60-pound injectors, the 630 cc a minute. These injectors will keep up with the 7 pounds I'm going to throw at this engine. So that was why I had done all that and got it to, you know, now I don't have to really mess with the mechanics of the engine anymore, other than I have to finish the duct work. I'm going to put the charge air cooler over here. That's what I'm about to do. Run all the plumbing. I got the charge air cooler. I thought it was going to fit in here. I don't know if I made a video about that. It didn't fit. It literally hit the pulley, hit the fan. It just didn't fit. Like, I could put it in here, it would hook up, but it was just too wide. So I'm going to put it over here. I moved the windshield washer squirter tank. I'm gonna have to figure something else out for that. But I moved that, made room for that. I'm gonna mount that here, and then I'm gonna run the charge pipes and everything. That's the next thing. And the reason I took the grill off is the air to water radiator is gonna fit in here, and then I'm gonna run that in. But that's another video. But that's it. We got the injectors in. I got it somewhat tuned where I can at least start it and get it out of the garage under its own power. I don't have to push it. The other things I have to do, the exhaust I got, this is just a, this is, does it say the name on it? I don't know if I made a video about this either. This is a Vibrant. Does it say what it is? I don't think so. This is a Vibrant resonator. It's wide open, but it's freaking quiet. It just has a nice deep tone to it. I like these. This is going to be the rest of my downpipe. I got my flex pipe here, and I'm gonna cut this at an angle to be my dump tube. It's going to go underneath the bed. So I have to finish the exhaust up, and that's it. It could be street ready at that point. I do have to do the transmission cooler lines, which are here. These are the nylon style. Evil Energy off of Amazon, cheap stuff, but I got that. So that's where we're at. And I got a new video editor for my laptop, so I can actually edit this video and get it up to you guys. So let me do that, and I'll catch you on the next one.